Today, we're going to talk about a really remarkable story. It's about four sisters living in this little cracked hut who didn't just sit around dreaming of a better life. They actually went out and built one, not just for themselves, but for their entire community.
And that's the big question, right? How can one family, facing some pretty overwhelming poverty, become the spark that gets a whole movement going? Well, their story has the answer. So our story kicks off like so many do with a simple but really powerful dream, and it was born in some of the most difficult circumstances you can imagine. This is the promise that Mira, the eldest sister, makes to her mom. And it's not just about getting a better house. It's a promise for dignity, for safety, for a future that they could finally control. This one sentence really sets everything into motion. So who are these four sisters? Well, you've got Mira, the leader. Then there's Radha, who is just incredible with a needle and thread. You have Jumki, the dreamer, the actress of the family. And finally, Payal, the youngest, who has a voice that could just melt your heart. Four totally different talents, all crammed under one leaky roof. And their reality was tough. I mean, imagine having to decide between buying new shoes for your little sister, getting medicine for your mother, or just paying the electricity bill. And this wasn't, a rare choice they had to make. This was their life every single day. The money they brought in was just never quite enough. But right in the middle of this constant struggle, they decided to do something pretty radical. They decided to stop working for other people and start working for themselves. And their idea was just brilliant. They called it Shikshan Kala Kendra, which means an arts and education center. They had this realization that their individual skills, which were scattered across these low-paying jobs, were so much more powerful if they brought them all together, under their own roof. What's so amazing is just how simple and resourceful their plan was. They weren't waiting around for some big loan or a lucky break. No, they just combined their skills, made their own flyers by hand, and turned their own hut into a classroom. It's this incredible example of entrepreneurship at its most pure grassroots level. And this image just perfectly captures the shift in their world. The very same holes in their roof that used to be a sign of their poverty were now letting in this beam of sunlight. And it felt like a new beginning. Hope had literally walked into their home. But of course, just as their new plan starts to get going, a storm from their past shows up, and it threatens to wash away everything they've started to build. A man named Ramesh shows up at their door, and the sisters get hit with this absolutely devastating secret. Turns out their mother, Savitri, had mortgaged their hut years ago to pay for their education. And now the debt is due, and this guy is here to either get his money or kick them out. 50,000 rupees. That's how much they need to save their home. I mean, to them, that number is astronomical. It feels completely impossible. But then, Jumki, the dreamer, she spots an opportunity. There's a citywide talent show, and the grand prize is exactly 50,000 rupees. So they have 1 month, just 1 month, to put together an act, go up against the whole city, and win. The stakes are just unbelievably high. This isn't just about winning some money. It's about saving their family, their home, and their dream. So the day of the show comes, and when they get on that stage, all their talents come together to create something just magical. It starts with Mira. Her dance is so graceful, so practiced, it immediately grabs the attention of everyone in the room. Then you have Radha's part in this, the costumes she made by hand. They sparkle under the stage lights, and they just elevate the whole performance. It looks completely professional. Next up is Jumki. All her dreams of being a big star are poured into this one moment. Her dramatic flair, her acting, it adds this whole layer of storytelling, and the audience is just completely captivated. And finally, Payal. Her sweet, soulful voice just fills the entire auditorium. It's the emotional heart of the whole performance, and it actually brings tears to people's eyes. In that moment, they weren't four separate people. They were one single, unstoppable force. And, you guessed it, they won. So they pay off the debt. Their home is safe. You'd think that's the happy ending, right? But just as they solve that problem, an even bigger one lands on their doorstep. A wealthy real estate tycoon buys their entire neighborhood, and he's planning to demolish it to build a shopping mall. All of a sudden, their fight just scaled up from saving one house to saving every single house. Having fought and won for their own home, they were now ready to lead the fight for their entire neighborhood. This is the moment where four sisters become four leaders. And you just have to see how fast all this happened. That personal victory gave them the courage and the reputation to immediately jump into this community-wide battle. They got all their neighbors together, and they inspired everyone to stand firm and refuse to sell. It's just this amazing example of how personal strength can become the rock for community leadership.
And the lasting impact is just incredible. Their center, the Shikshan Kala Kendra, is now booming. Mira's teaching kids academics right alongside dance. Rabah is empowering other young women with real tailoring skills. Jumke's using her dramatic flair to direct street plays with the local kids, giving them a voice. And Pyle's singing, it's on the local radio. They didn't just win a fight, they built a future.
You know, their mother, Savitri, she really puts it best with this beautiful quote. They became these beacons of what's possible, proving that where you come from doesn't have to decide where you're going.
And that really brings us to the final thought here. The sisters started with a dream for just one concrete house, but by sharing their courage, by sharing their vision, they ended up strengthening an entire neighborhood. And it leaves us with this really powerful question to think about. What is the true potential of a dream when it stops belonging to just one person and is embraced by everyone?